you've all seen the next generation Ford Ranger. We've driven it and I hope you've all watched our road tests on it. But the car you've all been asking about is the next generation Ford Ranger Raptor. Well, here it is folks, and I can tell you it's going to be with us a lot sooner than we thought. With its 400 horsepower, 3 litre V6 petrol engine, this thing is going to be a cracker. With Baja mode still in the terrain settings, next generation Fox Racing suspension, this thing is made for outback tracks. So we're out here at Loveday 4-Wheel Drive Park in South Australia to put it through its paces in the dust and whoops. Our first lap of the tracks at Loveday was in a current model Ranger Raptor. A car we're familiar with, gave us a feel of what the tracks are like, which way they went. The real highlight though was when we got into this camouflage car with a proper Ford Racing driver. These guys, there's only 4 of them in the world that can do it. 2 of them are Australians and they were both here for the day. Because this event wasn't just for journalists, it was set up as part of a Ford performance testing program. There was a team of American drivers, engineers and management out here from Ford Performance in the USA to see how things are going. To be considered a Ford Performance Raptor, the vehicles must pass an endurance test, and that's a simulation of the Baja 1000 race. That's 1,000 miles or 1,600 kilometres over the roughest terrain at flat out pace. And the guys have been down here at Loveday Park doing this for a few months now, and they did a lot of the suspension setup and tuning here for the new Raptor.
And that's what the Ranger Raptor's got.
Unreal.
Pretty impressive, isn't it?
Such an impressive car. As I say, it's just unbelievable to be in production vision.
Isn't it? Yeah. Especially if you've got experience with class 1 buggies.
Yeah.
You know what their capabilities are, and then we roll this off the showroom floor.
I was blown away by how well the car went over this lap at that pace. It was a one hell of a ride. And I asked the driver, you know, what sort of a pace does he do when they're doing the endurance testing? And he answered just a little bit faster than what we're doing then. So yeah, for a car to be able to do this so much, so often, it's just unbelievable. After our high speed runs this morning, we're back out on the tracks this afternoon and we're going to test out the new Ranger Raptor's low speed off-road ability. So we've got some big humps here and so forth into low range, and then there's some sand dunes up ahead. Terrain selector across the rock crawl. And automatically that goes into low range 4x4 for me. It's in low range, ready to go. Hill descent controls on. Crawls up this peak easily. The front view cameras give me a great view of what's over the top of this blind rise. So I can see the track ahead, see which way it goes. I know that I need a little bit of left lock on. And you come down nice and safely. The hill descent's doing its thing down there. Now we've got some pretty deep wombat holes here, uneven. We're using those rock sliders. Drove through here earlier in the current model Raptor, and this thing you can feel it's got more wheel travel. And I can see a little gap here which wheels are turning and so forth. It's smoother, it's keeping the car more level too. Needless to say, it's not raising a sweat at all to get over there. So one of the features of the new Ranger Raptor is trail control. Now, we've seen similar systems like this in Land Rovers and also in the latest Toyotas. They call it crawl control and various things. So let's see how it works in the Ford. Just straight here on the big screen, hit the trail control button. Comes up in my gauge binnacle telling me it's on. And I set the speed that I want using the cruise control buttons. So we're going up a real little rise here. We'll go up to 4 kilometers an hour. Foot off the brake, not touching the accelerator. Let's see how it goes. It's not the gnarliest of hills, but just see how the system works. But, you know, if you've been watching our stuff and certainly our 4-wheel drive of the year testing, you see how impressed we were with some of those other systems. Technology really works well. We'll just let that keep working now down the other side of the hill. The trail control system's doing the braking for me, and now it'll do the accelerating to get back up the other side. And the beauty of this system is that when traction becomes a problem, it can apply the throttle in such minute increments that you can never do with your foot, and just get the drive to the tyres that are getting the traction that's needed. Level lock a bit here, a bit easier. We'll bump it up to 5 k's an hour. I've got to say, this new screen in the Raptor is fantastic. It's really clear, it's got so much information on it. When we get some more time in these cars, it's going to take a while to learn all the different things we can find in here. It's a lot of information. The trail control is working nice and smooth, seamlessly here. Some cross-axle wombat holes we're coming into now. It's just walking through them. The rear diff lock in, I just bump the speed back down a little bit. Front and rear diff locks here because we've got a great big rock near the top of the hill. Might pick up the front wheel a bit, but just a little bit. Controls over. So we've been driving on a pretty rough little track here now, but we've come to some sand dunes, so we'll start to use the various terrain modes quite simply. Use the dial down here on the console, flick it across. You can see we go from normal through sport, through slippery, mud and ruts, and to sand mode. Straight away it's come up there, slipped into four-wheel drive, high range. It's given me the option if I want to put the rear locker in. Actually the rear locker has come in automatically, but I've got a front locker there as well if I want to. But we'll see what the track's like up ahead here. Looks quite soft and rutted. We'll see how it goes up there. In sand mode, you can see there it just walks up that hill quite easily. It wasn't that much of a tricky one, but now we're in it, we're ready for these bigger dunes up ahead. Now we're getting into the real dunes and the correct mode really comes to the fore. A bit of throttle there. This V6 petrol engine's got a really nice rauchy note to it. Getting a bit chopped up and soft in the afternoon sun. This thing's just ploughing through lovely. If you love beach driving, you'll love the new Ranger Raptor on the beach. This is a lot of fun. It's been an interesting couple of days out here with the new Ford Ranger Raptor. But what have we learned? Well, for one thing, this is a super exciting vehicle. It takes the Raptor concept up to a whole new level. It's faster, it handles better, the suspension is better. It takes in all sorts of terrain. And with the various modes you've got in driving, they're easy to control. And they make such a big difference no matter what sort of the terrain you're covering. We've been in sandy tracks, rocky tracks, high speed roads. This thing handles it all. What it does the best is its high speed performance. And going from the current model Ranger Raptor into this model Ranger Raptor, and then doing a super high speed lap in the car with a roll cage and a professional driver, it just shows the capability of this vehicle. We're really looking forward to getting this car, and it's going to be in showrooms a lot sooner than we expected. We'll be getting our hands on one. We're putting them on some of our favourite tracks back home as soon as possible.